to this exact value question, which is you have it as question 5. Okay, question 5. Yes. Now what is it saying? Find the exact value. Then it says of sine of 7 pi over 3. That is the first thing here we have. So what are we going to do? If you want to understand this, you can check the slides on trigonometric functions, which is your lecture 6, I guess. Now here, what am I going to do? If you want to find sine of this, you know that the special angles, we need to know the special angles. The special angles that we have are, we have the angle for 30, 45, 60, 90. Okay, we could say we have these 30, 45. These are special angles: 30, 45, 60, 90. The very, very special ones. Okay, that you should be able to know. I mean, you can keep going and have all this other, it goes to 120 and whatever, but I could say the important ones, and you have 180 and you have 360. Keep these ones. These ones are enough. 30, 45, 60, 90, 180, 360. They are enough. So now you'll be saying, are they enough? Yes, these are enough. You should know the values of these, and we know what values they can give. If we're dealing with the graph of sine, we know that if we are dealing with the graph of sine or cosine, then the answers we can get are 1. We can get 1 or -1 or 0, or we can get 0.5, which is both positive or negative. Then we can also get, we call it root 2 over 2, but when we are doing calculations, sometimes we like to use it as 1 over root 2, and we can get root 3 over 2. So you're going to test these ones as your solutions. You punch in the calculator, you get an answer, and you come and check which one it is. Let's say you get an answer, you punch in the calculator, sine of 60, you get an answer. Let's put it, let me make sure my calculator is not in radians. I'm going to put it in degrees first for this one, although most of the calculations we'll be doing are red. Okay, so I'm going to reset it at the back there. I have it in DG now. I can say sine 60, I got 0.866, blah, 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 blah. Now, which one is it here? I would just come and say, what is root 3 divided by 2? What is root 3 divided by 2? So root 3 divided by 2, I'll get 0.86 whatever. So it's this one. So I can say that sine 60, instead of writing 0.833 whatever, it's root 3 over 2. You check it with your answers that you know. You know that these are the answers that should come out. You understand? Root 2 over 2, remember we said you can also write it as 1 over root 2. You can see it, we did in the calculation above. Now, if you are doing, this is for sine and for cos. These are the answers that should come when you deal with these special angles. And for tan now, it would be either 1 over root 3 or root 3 itself, or 1 or 0. These are the possible values for tan when you do this one. So you should punch and you see which one you get. You confirm with it. Okay, it can be positive or negative. Remember that. So if you, let's say you get an answer, and for tan of whatever angle it is, and for example, if you say, what is the tan of, let's say tan of 30 degrees, tan 30, I get 0.577 whatever. So now I need to know which one is it. I'll say 1 divided by root 3, 0.57 whatever. So I can now say tan 30 degrees is just 1 over root 3. Remember, for tan, it's root 3's at the denominator. It's either 1 over root 3, or it's root 3 itself, or it's a 1, or it's a 0, or it's undefined. If it gives you an error, that means there is nothing. It's an asymptote at that value. It may give you an error. Sine or cos, you saw the solutions. Now remember that when you put in rad, remember that pi rad is 180 degrees. So here you would have it as, if you're doing it, this would be a pi over 6, 45 degrees. You could have it as a pi over 4. Then here you would have it as a pi over 3. Then here you'd have it as a pi over 2. You understand? These are some of the things that you must always know. What each of these, remember, it's 30, 45, 60, okay? And you would have it as pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, pi over 2, okay? And it keeps going on. Now, these are very important values. Of course, you could talk about 270 being important, whatever, but we can deal with it, okay? We can deal with them, and I'm going to show you now how. So you see these values, make sure you have them. Some are very important. If you want to punch pi over 6, make sure your calculator is in rad so you get the right answer. Now let's come and let's solve this one using that concept. Okay, we also have, this is going to be pi itself, then this is going to be 2 pi. So these are the special angles. So now when you get a value like this, which is number 1, improper. Can you see that it's improper? Here we have 7 pi over 3. We have 7 pi over 3. Yes. So what you're going to do is you are going to split this thing into two angles. Now, 7 pi over 3. What is the value that you can have to make it a whole number first? What are the things that I can have? I can see I have 7 pi over 6. I can break this angle into 2. And you know what this is? 6 pi over 3 and pi over 3. Okay? These together would give me 7 pi over 3. I can break them like this. Because if I have 6 pi over 3, I can change it to be a 2 pi. So it becomes 2 pi plus pi over 3. And pi over 3 is one of the special angles at 60 degrees. Okay, it's 60 degrees. So I could have it like that, and I can then be able to find my... So you should break it down. So this is the same as saying sine of... Here, what do we have? 6 pi over 3 plus pi over 3. It's like that. Now, once I have it like this, I know how to expand, because that's the other thing which we told you. You have forgotten, just go and watch the videos on your compound angles, which I did. You can see how do I expand sine A plus B and the double angles and whatever. It's important. It's very, very important. So here, that means I'm going to have what? How do I expand sine A plus B? Remember, we said that sine of A plus B. Let me put the things again too, because it's important. Okay, so number one, this is so I can say that this video was on the concepts that we needed to do to solve. Okay, what is the first concept? Know your special angles, the critical ones. Know that what the possible answers that you can get for those special angles, 0,5 and root 2 over 2 and root 3 over 2. These are the possible when I'm dealing with sine and cos. When I'm dealing with tan, we saw the possible way root 3 and 1 and 0 and 1 over root 3. So you'll be testing them with the solution that your calculator is giving you to see which one is it like. Okay, then now here we saw how you split, but when we split, let's put the things which you're going to need to know when you split. So when you split, you should know sine of A plus B and sine of A minus B. So how do you do sine of A plus B and sine? Then you should also know cos of A plus B, and you should know cos of A minus B. Okay, we've talked about this again last time, last semester, I'm sure. So what do we have? Sine of A plus B, and let's do for cos. So we know that cos is the one where he comes alone, then he brings the other one. So this becomes cos A cos B. Then later on, it's now sine A sine B. Again, here it's still cos A cos B. Then after that, it is a sine B. So cos A cos B. When for cos, if there was a plus, you should then make it a minus. If there was a minus, you should then make it a plus. Now let's do for sine A plus B. What do you do for sine A plus B? Here, this becomes sine A cos B, then cos A sine B. So sine says I go first and you will go together, but I go first, then you will go first. Cos says I go alone, then you will go alone. For both of the things, okay? Cos goes alone, then sine goes. Then cos goes alone, then sine goes. But cos also changes the sign. For sine, he says, let's go together, but I start first, then you start first. So even if it's sine of A minus B, sine starts first. So it's sine, then cos. Then cos now starts, then sine comes after. But they move together. And if it's a plus, here it will also be a plus. If it's a minus, here it will be always also a minus. That's for sine. That is how you expand it. It's one of the things that you've got to know. Is it one of the things that you've got to know? Yes, it is. It's one of the identities, eh? It's one of the things that you have to know, that you must always remember. These are the compound angles. These are formulas. These are additional formulas. Now what about if, are these the only two? Yes, for this one, these are the only two that you must know as we are getting the exact values. So these are the only things that I got to know, and I can be able to find exact values, okay? So this is my question 5. There is one for tan, but you don't have to know it right now for the work you're doing. You won't find it in your slides as well. So this is the first thing. Remember these and remember the special angles, then you'll be done. Let's solve the question in the next video. Goodbye for now.